Thank you very much. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Chase, Mr. Patrick, and Mr. Costello, allowing us to be a part of your special night and award. Moto, a lot of games together for Team USA, a lot of DPs together when I was drinking Diet Pepsi. But the greatest American-born scorer ever to play in the National Hockey League. I call him a friend. And you know you earn somebody's respect and trust when you get a phone call from somebody and he wants an opinion about what I thought would be like for him to go back home to Detroit and play for the Detroit Red Wings. When you earn the respect of a Mike Modano, you've truly arrived. Moto, I couldn't be more proud to be going with you into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Mr. Lamoriello, as you mentioned, way back in June of 1983, I was all of 16 years of age. You were there giving of your time for USA Hockey, being one of the coaches to help select the Olympic team that had the distinct privilege and very difficult task to try to follow the 1980 Olympic miracle on ice. But Mr. Lamoriello, the coach of the East team, all the youngest guys are on that team. We struck up a relationship that was built on trust and respect and all the success that he has done for college hockey, for USA Hockey, for the National Hockey League, and in particular for the New Jersey Devils, of going to 5 Stanley Cups since 1995 and winning 3 of those. Anytime I've had the opportunity, whether it was as a player, as a broadcaster, or as a member of USA Hockey, Mr. Lamoriello would always have the time to say hello. He would always have the time when I would go up to his office to break away from a meeting, break away from a phone call, to come out and say hello in a rink. He's always at the rink. And what makes him so special to me and my family is that he's always asked me how my mom and dad were. And tonight, he was able to see my mom and dad for the first time in a long, long time. Mr. Lamoriello, I couldn't be more proud. Congratulations. I've been lucky enough to play on a lot of lines in my National Hockey League career, to see Patty LaFontaine, David A. Jensen on the diaper line. I was on that line to slow it down a little bit. No doubt about it. I played on a line with the Chicago Blackhawks my first couple of years there. It was coined by my now partner working for the Chicago Blackhawks, the great Pat Foley. He called us the Clydesdales. The great Troy Murray and our toughness. Now an assistant coach with your Dallas Stars, Kurt Frazier. But back in the day, just for some of our younger hockey fans out there, the Clydesdales were fast back in 1984. I played with Moto and JR on a line, Team USA. I played on a line with Moto and my buddy Brett Hull. That's Brett Hull if you didn't understand the locker room language there. And out of the respect factor, Paulie, I think I had a few more years in the league when we played on Team USA and you were wearing number 16 and I was wearing number 12. That picture didn't look all that right to me on that one. I know. 700 something, I know. The goal scorer gets the number. No disrespect to my lines. I believe this will be the last line I ever play on. And to be on this line with Mike Modano and Lou Lamoriello, they will last forever. I thank you guys. I've been lucky enough to be inducted to some other Hall of Fames, the Illinois Hockey Hall of Fame recently, a couple of years ago. The American Polish Sports Hall of Fame. No, there's not a joke in there. There is a American Polish Sports Hall of Fame. Steve talked about my last name. Yes, Olczyk, by a vowel. That's right. Sorry, Dad. Polish and Italian family. I am more Italian than Polish, that is for sure. But a couple of years ago, and we have a couple of honorees here tonight from the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame. We're talking Chicago Sports Hall of Fame, you talk about the coach, Mike Ditka, former Cowboy, right? Bo Jackson, Chris Chelios, a couple of representatives from the Chicago Blackhawks here tonight, Jay Blunt and John McDonough, recently inducted to the Chicago Sports Hall of Fame. But a couple of years ago, I got the call to go in to the Chicago Sports Hall of Fame. The gentleman on the other line said, Eddie, we'd like to welcome you to the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame. The induction will be on October, whatever. It's 7:30 at Hawthorne Racetrack and Hawthorne Racecourse in Chicago. And for Ralphie certainly knows, Ralphie gets a big kick out of that. I'm going, right? I mean, it's a party. I'm going to the racetrack. I've been to Lone Star before. I've been to the Stars Club, but I've been to Lone Star as well. The gentleman says the induction is on this night, and I say, sir, I'm very sorry, but we have a game that night, a television game, a home game, so I won't be able to attend. He said, so you're saying is you can't show up for the induction? I said, no, sir, I'm sorry. He goes, well, you're not in the Hall of Fame. And I'm still not in the Hall of Fame. Full disclosure, because I want to make sure that before I accept this induction into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, because I got to come clean. If we can remember, it was a long time ago when we all paraded up here in front of you when you were getting ready to eat your salad. I walked up with my beautiful wife, the lovely and talented Diana Olczyk. My children, Eddie, Tommy, Zandra, Nicholas, and being a hockey dad, I happen to be in Pittsburgh. We just played a game, got home on a charter. My son Tommy had a game at 7:20 in Mount Lebanon, a rink just outside Pittsburgh. Take him to the game. My son Eddie was with me because he had practice right after. We're watching a game at 7:30 in the morning. The game's going up and down, and now we have a linesman, and I love officials. I love referees. But this in particular linesman at 7:30 in the morning decides he wants to start calling in intentional offsides on 6- and 7-year-olds for about 10 minutes of the hockey game. We must have lost the night before. I had my guy. So after the last time, and this is about the 5th time the linesman yells intentional offside all the way down, I'm sitting with my son Eddie, and I've had enough. So I yelled from the empty stands at the Mount Lebanon Ice Arena, "Come on, ref! What do you think this is, the NHL?" He looks up at me, he blows his whistle, "You out!" I said, "What?" I'm sitting there, Eddie is sitting next to me, the game has stopped. The manager comes over and says, "Mr. Olczyk, you have to leave the stands or the game won't start." So as I'm getting up, my son Eddie asked me, "Are you gonna tell Mom?" She just found out for the first time in almost 20 years. Full disclosure, I accept this nomination to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Everything I have is because of our great game. My family is here. My wife's family is here. My family with the Chicago Blackhawks are here. My friends are here. My ex-teammates are here. I'm so grateful that you would come and want to share this with me, but this award is not about me. It is about all of the people that helped me along the way in this long journey. Playing for Team USA for the first time in 1984, playing on that, I'll call it Batty, our famous diaper line. The Canada Cups in 84, 87, and 91, Moto, Breton. Making that U.S. team at 17 years of age. Playing on the World Championship teams for Team USA. Playing in Stockholm and Moscow. Was playing for Team USA in 1989 in Moscow. Our interpreter brings a newspaper on the bus, opens up the newspaper, about 18 pages in his broken English, he says, "A little bit of a nuclear disaster a few miles from here." Yes, it was Chernobyl. I do not glow in the dark, just for full disclosure. Brian Burke, you heard his name. 1993, he was the general manager of Team USA, going over to Germany. Berkey called me. "I want you to come and play. I want you to be our captain." The answer was yes. The answer should be and always will be yes when Team USA calls. I always took great pride in wanting to win and compete in the greatest game in the world against the best competition. I also got the opportunity to coach Team USA in the Ivan Malenko Under-18 tournament back in 2006, where we won a silver medal. Hockey has been my life. It is our family's life. We have a plaque in our house that says, "We interrupt this family." We all know what it says at the end, for hockey. I'd like to thank the selection committee with this great honor. I wanted this really bad for a long time. Thank you to everybody at USA Hockey for all you do. And a special thanks to Dave Fisher, who has been a great friend and a great supporter of mine, whether it be on the ice and now more importantly off the ice. And two gentlemen within USA Hockey's ranks have been really huge supporters of Eddie Olczyk, Mark Tabram, and Kevin McLaughlin. For $20, I got my first set of hockey gear. The real Ed Olczyk, my dad, my mom Diana. Gets pretty confusing at holiday time. You got my wife and me, Eddie and Diana, and my mom, Eddie and Diana, and my oldest son, Eddie. I wanted to name Xandra Diana, but that wasn't going to fly. But for $20, I got my first set of hockey equipment, and that was it. Hook, line, and sinker. I was 6 years old at the Niles, and back in Niles, at the Ballard Sports Complex. Stepping on that ice for the very first time, not going very far. You all saw me skate. Wasn't very good. It's been a long journey. And as I said, it's about the people that have helped me along the way. My mom and dad who did and always have been there. The love, the support, the discipline. Teaching me respect, having compassion, being sensitive. The three things I remember about growing up. Being the oldest brother of two, my brother Ricky, assistant general manager with the Edmonton Oilers. He played his college hockey at Brown. Then he went to law school at Cornell. Yes, I know he got the brains. You don't have to, I know you all mumbled that under your brother. I understand that. And my brother Randy, a real estate tycoon in Chicago. 847-338-2022 if you're looking for business in Chicago. But the one thing I remember from my mom and dad was being the biggest Blackhawk fan in the world. We weren't allowed to have any furniture in our front room because that's where Ricky and Randy and I played hockey. And Diana Olczyk, my mom, would be goalie. Pretty good. Saw Andy Moog a little bit earlier, so gracious to come over and say hello. Razor, you know a little bit about goaltending? My mom was good. But a lot of times she didn't have a stick, she had a spoon in her hand. But I would come down those stairs in full hockey gear. And for the guys that had a little wager there over at the Blackhawk table about when I was going to shed a tear, it's probably coming right now, just for the heads up. I would come down those stairs and my mom would sing, "Here Come the Hawks." And as a young kid growing up in Chicago, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know how you got there. I just wanted to play in the National Hockey League and play for the Blackhawks. I remember my dad working, my mom driving everybody where they needed to be. And in Chicago, if you've ever been on the tollway in Chicago, you had an oasis that would connect one side to the other. You go in there, and they used to be Howard Johnson's. We lived on the south side, my dad worked on the north side. When we had hockey, my mom would drive one direction, my dad would drive the other. We would walk across the oasis. My mom and dad would embrace. I would go with my dad. My mom would take his car. And I would go to hockey, and my mom would go home and take Ricky and Randy wherever they needed to go. Thanks for the oasis. Didn't matter where I played, whether it was playing midget hockey in the national championship in Manchester, New Hampshire, I would turn around and my dad was there. When I left home to go play junior B hockey up in Stratford, Ontario, I'd be in Waterloo, I'd be in Listowel, I would be in Owen Sound. I would turn, and the real Ed Olczyk would be there for me. And I try to do that now for my 4 kids. The support and love started at home, it continues to come from home. I thank my mom and dad. I thank my brothers Rick and Randy for everything, for being there, good or bad. Win or lose, good coaching or bad coaching, good broadcasting or bad broadcasting, good telestrators or bad telestrators. I'd like to thank all of my amateur coaches. Seeing a couple familiar faces tonight, Coach O'Connor with the '84 Olympic team, Coach Taylor, Walt Bussey, Saul Benjamin, Brian Morgan, John Starzinski, Pat Maboe, Mike Stoga, Steve Roll, Chip Mueller, Dave Cressman, Denny Flanagan, and Mr. Costello mentioned Lou Lamoriello. Certainly our thoughts and prayers were with Lou and his family, but Lou was my last amateur coach. The Billeting families I stayed with, the Turford family, Larry and Susan Johnson, who I lived with, and he died in Minnesota when I played for the Olympic team back in '83 and '84. My journey started with the Chicago Blackhawks in the National Hockey League. To be the first ever American-born native son to be drafted by his hometown team is something I take great pride in for American-born hockey players the rest of my life. I was drafted in 1984. I played my first game, my 1000th game, and a lot of games in between. And my last game as a Chicago Blackhawk. I thank the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Rangers, where I was a very small part of the team winning our ultimate prize in the National Hockey League, the Stanley Cup. A cup of coffee with the LA Kings. 2 of my children born in Toronto, Eddie and Tommy. My daughter Alexandra, born in Stamford, Connecticut when I played for the Rangers. And my son Nick, a California kid, born at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. A special thanks to the Pittsburgh Penguins, where I spent almost 8 years of my professional life. As a player, I tried to coach, and as a broadcaster. I thank the city of Pittsburgh, their fans, Craig Patrick, Mario Lemieux, and Mikey Lang. All very instrumental in my time in the city of Pittsburgh. I mentioned family a little bit earlier. I would like to thank the Chicago Blackhawks for giving me an opportunity to be a fan growing up in the city of Chicago. In particular, the Wirtz family, the late Bill Wirtz, Peter, and now the chairman of the Chicago Blackhawks, Rocky Wirtz. Whether I was playing for them or working for them or coming in as an opponent, the respect that they showed me always was second to none. The Chicago Blackhawks have come here. I don't think there's anybody in the front office right now that's in the office because they're all here tonight supporting me and my family, and I couldn't be more thankful. 2 tables full, a lot of people to go around, from the media relations department to marketing to tickets. The team president and CEO, John Modano, who I've known for a long time. Jay Blanc, I am proud to be a part of your family. The way you treat me and my family, I could never repay you for your friendship and your love that you've given me. Playing on a lot of teams, seem to wear out my welcome every 3+ years. It's okay to laugh at that, it's okay. Thankfully, I've been married 24 years to the same woman, so that's a good thing. All the people in the front office, all the coaches, and I played for a lot of coaches, all the trainers, the most overworked and underpaid guys in the business. Saw Dave Smith, who's one of the trainers on our Team USA's a couple of times, Smitty. I remember Skip and Louie from my days in Chicago with the Blackhawks early, to Parchie and Frank, to Sevy and Paulie, to Rammer and Zinger. Those guys took care of me, and I'd like to think that I took care of them. I played with a lot of great teammates over my career, both in the National Hockey League and with Team USA. With his motto, it talked about Reed Larson making an impact on him. There were 4 players that I played with over the course of my career that taught Eddie Olczyk what it's like to be a pro. What it's like to be a role model. Sometimes role models have a little bit too much fun. Sometimes. But I'd like to thank Troy Murray, Denny Savard, Daryl Sutter, and Ronnie Francis for teaching me what's right, how to do things, and to become a pro, both on and off the ice. And 2 of those gentlemen are here tonight to share this night, and I couldn't be more proud to have them here tonight. Troy, Ronnie, thank you very much for coming tonight. The 2 best coaches I ever played for, Bob Bulford and John Paddock. They knew what I can do. They knew my strengths. They gave me opportunity to play 16 years in the National Hockey League. My agents, Rick Curran, Bill Waters, and Ronnie Salzer, and to all the fans. I've been lucky enough to wear a lot of hats in the greatest game in the world. Player, fan, coach, broadcaster, most importantly, dad. I started a new chapter of my life since 2000 when I retired. It's hard to believe I've been retired that long. But I started thinking about life after hockey in the mid-90s. There happened to be a labor dispute back in 1994 where I wasn't playing, we weren't playing, nobody was playing. So my friend Hal Handel at the Meadowlands racetrack called me up and asked me if I'd be interested to work television at the Meadowlands racetrack during the work stoppage. And for the people that know me, of course there was no hesitation. Ralphie, you'd be right there with me, buddy. So that's where I got my first taste of a microphone, working with television people. So for 3 or 4 months, they paid me to go to the racetrack. And speaking about money and getting paid, when I saw Mr. Costello yesterday walking into the lobby, we both congratulated one another. He commented to me, or he asked me, how do I like doing the television? And I love it. Take great pride in it, representing our game. But I heard this before, I think, from my partner on the NBC side, the great Doc Emmerich. As he always would say, is they pay you to come into a hockey rink and watch hockey. Doesn't get any better than that. And then I thought